So if you're looking to qualify for a commercial mortgage, multifamily mortgage, a commercial building, one of the things that you're going to have to fill out is a rent roll document. So the purpose of this video is to go over how to complete a rent roll and the different bones and so forth on it. I did a previous video on calculating a income approach for a property. So having this document would be very important for that process. Without further ado, let's dig in. So first, the bones of the rent roll. So the bones of the rent roll is the tenant name, the suite number or unit number of that particular property. So like if, let's just say you have a commercial building, there might be different offices or so forth that is utilized for that. And you have the lease start date, when the lease start, the existing lease, and when that lease ends, and the rental rate, so which would be the income of that property as well as the expense arrangement. So now a lot of times, sometimes properties owners will either pay for all the expenses associated with it or not. Maybe it's a triple net lease where the renter is required to pay all the expenses for that property. So step by step, here's the document, and I'll give access to this in the show notes for everyone to see. But more importantly, let's look at the rent roll. So here's the rent roll documentation that we fill out. So obviously the property that is being financed, so to speak. So typically, even if you're selling the property, the owner, the buyer of the property is going to want to see all this information too, so that they can make a decision on purchasing. So you put the address here, you as the, so typically we utilize this to give to the borrower, the person that's requesting the funds for the loan amount. So that be, or be the current owner of the property if you're not using this document for lending purposes. And so again, here you have the tenant. So who is actually leasing it. So one thing, it might be the same person that owns the property may also be the tenant, or maybe you have a separate holding company that owns the property, which would be the holding company would be here, but then your operation company would be the person that's paying the lease here. So you put that here, and then the suite number or unit number. If you don't have any, definitely make sure you put one together. And then what's the square footage of that property that's being utilized? So how much is that being utilized out of that space? Again, the lease start date, the lease end date, the amount that is being paid, and the expense arrangement is, again, for example, if you're paying for a individual tenant, if you're paying for let's say water, or some kind of utilities or cable, or something, some expenses that is tied to this property that you're, as the borrower or owner of the property that you're paying, put that there in the amount. And once you add that up, then that's the gross rent. And then date right here, it says dated here. And the entity, so put by here the entity that the borrower has here, the you sign it, the person who's signing it, their name, and the title, and the date, and the individual. So you got the entity, that the individual that's signing for the company, and then you got the individual who's signing this actual document. It may be the same, it may not. You know, that you may have certain person that represent the entity, and then a different person that's filling out this document, maybe office operations manager or something that's filling it out on behalf of the borrower or owner of the property. And that's it. That's it. That's really how easy it is. There's other ones out there that you can use, but typically this is, bare bones part of it. If you have any questions about it, like on into the show notes, you'll have access to this basic information, back to the video, as well as to uh, answer the questions that you may have. All right. Well, hey, thanks for watching this video. Talk to you soon.